Morning everyone, welcome to DOdaily. Wake up to walk. It's Des here, just about ready to attack the day. Really tired this morning. It's also that tricky couple of weeks after the clocks change where got everything to do but not much daylight to fit it all in. So I'm out for a quick walk, heading towards the river, almost defaulting, small window to get it in, so nowhere exciting today, just getting it in. But that's as important as ever, isn't it? Do you know, whilst it's been a really busy week, whilst I've had to get back to all my routines, get back to work, do you know, it's still important to do this for all the reasons I talk about. I'm feeling a bit tired and sort of overwhelmed a little bit by my own New Year's resolutions. I thought it'd be important today just to sort of give people that little bit of a G up. If you're not finding them easy, if you're finding them quite tough, the reason they are resolutions, new targets, new goals, is because we never find it easy, do we? And in the first week or so, when people generally sort of forget all about them, you know, fail and don't get back to them, I think it's important just to remember that they're not easy, and that's why we do it. But it doesn't mean we have to give up. I've not strictly stuck to all the things I've said I were going to do all throughout the week, talking about those targets and goals. But I also spoke earlier in the week about resolving these issues over the year, you know, so it's important for me to sort of keep working at it, keep working hard. Just show you there, the sun is actually coming up now, but it's that, like I say, it's that tricky period where it's really hard for me to get out and film. It's easy to get out for a walk in the dark, of course, but get out and film. But that's just one more challenge along the way, isn't it? One more thing to master in the next few weeks. The daylight should increase, happen a bit earlier, you know, and get many more nice sunrises like that. It's an amazing time of year for pictures. I'm looking forward to getting somewhere new. I mentioned on Thursday Thoughts yesterday that I've got a new route planned, a new challenge. Looking forward to taking that on through the back end of the winter and the spring. And like I say, if we can get some amazing sunrises. Last winter, I remember all the amazing pictures I was popping on the end of the video. Some of them got shared, so that kind of made it even nicer for me. Shared on sort of websites and things like that. So just something I enjoy doing. But another reason just to get up and about. If you don't get out and about, you'll miss those opportunities, and someone who likes to see such things, that's great, isn't it? But like I say, I was talking there about how it's been a tough week in terms of trying to sort of fit everything in, everything I've said I want to do. You know, it's a work in progress, isn't it? It doesn't just happen just because the calendar ticks over to 2022. We've still got to find ways to make things happen, to make it that little bit easier for ourselves. And it's just been a case of that. For myself, I've already touched on the fact that I've had to go back to work after a bit of a period of time off, you know, and fitting that in as well. A couple of weeks ago, when my hand was particularly bad, today would have been quite easy. I'd have just got up about now, I'd have come out when it was a bit lighter, you know, I'd have had a bit more time. But the realities of everyday life kick in whilst I enjoy filming DOdaily, whilst I enjoy going out for a walk, of course. You know, I've got to make it happen for everything else I've got to do as well, haven't I? If I don't do all those, this part wouldn't be possible either. So it's just about sort of understanding that, taking on board that we can't always do everything absolutely straight away. You know, if we could, we wouldn't be setting New Year's resolutions, were we? Nobody's perfect, but if we were, it'd be a case of just going about the things the way we need to go about them, and that's not the point. You know, I've been speaking about targets and challenges and how we can be concise and how we can approach them all week. You know, I asked people on Thursday Thoughts yesterday to tell me the one thing they really want to master, you know, and pop it in the comments so I can feedback next week. Because I think when you say it, you know, when you say you're going to do something, when you add that little bit of accountability, it makes it much more likely to happen. You know, I say every week I'm going to get up on a Friday morning. Do I feel like it? Not really, not most of the time. But when I've done it, I feel absolutely amazing. And I know if people sort of attack their challenges in a similar way, you know, they'll feel absolutely amazing and they'll get so much more from the things they do. And that's all I'm trying to sort of encourage guys, you know, just that little bit of self-improvement. Doesn't have to be massive changes. I'm trying to make big ones myself. Again, feels like an everlasting battle, but that's what I want to do. You know, that's the choices I'm making. You know, we're going to a new year, you know, and despite the fact it's absolutely freezing, despite the fact it's just about daylight, you know, I'm pressed for time, got a lot to fit in the next hour or so. You know, without this little bit of walk I wouldn't be able to process things properly, you know, and really take a lot when it's all done. And Fridays are generally a case of that, aren't they? You know, for a lot of people, not for everyone. Of course, there's people who don't work a conventional week, but fortunately for me, whilst I do a lot of the weekends in terms of the encouraging and sort of running clubs and things that I do to provide sort of activity and support, you know, it all feels like good fun, because when you're enjoying it, it doesn't feel like work. So the weekend's something to really look forward to for me, and when I can sort of tick everything off, you know, accept how it's gone, whether it's been good, bad or completely indifferent. And like I say, there's a bit of all of that this week, when I can sign it all off knowing I've done my best and knowing next week I can go again. You know, I said to Kay at one point this week, with some of these challenges, you know, I've got to stop being a little bit hard on myself. You know, they are going to take time to set in, especially when you try to do so much at once. The fact I've gone back to work, the fact I've really picked up my activity again, you know, I'm changing my diet, I'm looking at all my running stuff again and what I'm doing there in terms of taking the CIC forward, you know, and getting the groups back on, you know, because we've had a short break, so that all amounts to a lot. So I just throughout the week, by talking on here, it just made me realise that, well, it made me realise not to be too hard on myself and just take it as it comes. You know, bit by bit, it'll all fit into place. If you make that slight change, you know, if you do get the activity in as much as anything, of course, I'm a firm believer in that, you know, everything will fall into place around it. That's generally what happens on a Friday. Normally approach the weekend with lots of plans and the fact it's going to be really busy, but this week's a little bit different. But by doing that, by sort of approaching it that way, this just gives me the sort of peace of mind, almost clears my mind of everything that's gone before, you know, and lets me do it the right way. I touched on there that it's actually going to be a quiet one. It's not something I'm really used to after all the excitement of the last few months, the busy Christmas period. You know, I've got a nice weekend to look forward to next week, but for this week, you know, it's just going to be a case of settling into the new year a little bit. No huge plans. Whilst I've got a few things to do, I touched on the running. I'll go to park run in the morning. You know, there's a big football match just over there behind me at the world famous City Ground on Sunday. You know, they're just nice things to tick me through, but also let me almost recharge my batteries a little bit. And from what I've said today, I think it's definitely a case of needing that, you know, just to make sure that I don't burn out too quickly, and to give myself the best chance of getting back on track with everything. You know, ultimately it doesn't matter to anybody apart from myself. You know, of course what I do impacts others, but these things are all because I really want to do them. And it's something else this week I've touched on, isn't it, how I tried to think about myself a little bit more, you know, and it's been a period of that as well. You know, new year, it tends to give us a new perspective sometimes, and again, without being defined by it, it's just the way it is. We tend to look back over a period of time, look to where we were this time last year, you know, and I was probably in a similar place, but the one thing I have picked up is that I just need to be a little bit more focused on what I do and not worry too much about what others say and do. However, I have made myself a little bit of a promise of sort of calling it out, I guess. You know, if somebody's being silly, you know, the things I try to do, there's always somebody to have a pop at it, but I don't want to be negative, but I just want to nip it in the bud, that's what I'm saying. And these are all my little things I'm working on all the time to try and be better. All the things I'm working on when I'm out here enjoying this. I'll just show you behind me the other way. I don't know if you can see it. The real nice red skies are starting to show up. So I'll get on a few more minutes out before getting a much needed hot drink and some breakfast and setting about another busy day. Hopefully you have an absolutely amazing weekend. You know, whether it is just time out or whether it's continuing all the exciting Christmas plans with something different, you know, it's just about making the most, guys. But make sure you get out, getting plenty of activity. What the weekend does allow us, if you can't get up in the morning, if you've got commitments, what the weekend allows us is to get that little bit of extra activity in. And if you get out, clear the mind, clear the soul like I have this morning, you know, it'll be a good one. Please like, share and subscribe to the video. That'd be absolutely amazing. Been really positive in that sense this week. Really sort of jumped on a little bit, you know, with the subscribers in particular, people looking in, some really nice comments. Again, that all helps when you're working hard and you know somebody somewhere is appreciating it. It feels amazing. So until Monday, guys, a bit of a short one, just reflecting on those challenges and targets and things I've said. You know, have an absolutely brilliant one. I'll reiterate that. Just doing it.